Back to another episode of Hefe's World. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. But let's go ahead and get right into it. We doing our first NBA episode ever. For the first time, we're going to start off with the NBA trade market and the new shape and new faces of the NBA. The NBA trade market was absolutely insane. I'm not going to get into every trade, but I want to get into some of the biggest trades that happened. February 2nd was really February 1st going into February 2nd. That morning was when the trade deadline really started to kick off with that Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic trade. Absolutely changed the face of the West in that perspective right there. It's very interesting that the Mavs gave up on Luka so early in his career. This guy is still very young. So to see them give up on a guy that just brought them to the finals, a pre just last season is very strange. And I believe my guy Dwayne Wade, one of my favorites, one of the greatest in my opinion to ever pick up the ball. He said it best. The NBA might have been afraid of the whole um, max deal that Luka was supposed to be getting, and the market increasing that way. That this deal had to get done. This deal may have came from Adam Silver himself. Um, Unfortunately, but Anthony Davis has now been traded over to the Mavs and Luka is now on the Lakers. There were some obvious other moving parts in this deal, but the biggest names, Anthony Davis now on the Mavs. He's going to be teaming with old Clay Thompson and an older Kyrie Irving. These guys tried to play together a long time ago, back when Anthony Davis was in New Orleans still playing for the Pelicans. Kyrie was in Boston, so Kyrie definitely tried to recruit him, and he tried to recruit Kevin Durant back in the day as well to come to Boston. That did not work out, as we all know. But now they are playing together at an older age, so we will see how the Mavs work out. They have definitely been playing exceptional this year, with or without Luka. They've been winning games as well. So with Anthony Davis there, an actual big, and Kyrie and maybe Clay can step up. We'll see. Maybe they can pick up some steam in the West. As far as the Lakers, I'm not really sold on Luca and LeBron. I feel like they just don't have enough pieces around those two guys. Obviously, LeBron and Luca are definitely an exceptional pairing, and it will be definitely fun to watch. They will most likely be a play-in team. I don't see them really propelling in the playoffs. I don't see them getting out of that first round. If they do end up making it into the actual playoffs out of the play-in, I just can't see it. I know Luca is great. I know LeBron has his legacy, but the rest of those pieces, it takes more than just two guys, and neither one of them really play that great defense. So I just can't see it in my personal opinion, at least not this year. We'll see what the offseason of the next year brings them. Another big trade that happened later on that day, De'Aaron Fox got his way and he was headed to the San Antonio Spurs. This was a three-way team deal that had to get done in order to facilitate that trade. So the Kings ended up getting Zach LaVine as their big piece, and the Bulls got a couple pieces in Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, and Trey Jones. They also were able to acquire a first round pick in this upcoming draft. So the Bulls kind of got a little bit of what they needed out of this trade and hopefully plan well for the future with those role players in their first round pick. Pairing De'Aaron Fox with Wemby is huge. In his first game in action, he had 13 assists. So I just can't wait for the rest of that. Chris Paul's there to continue teaching De'Aaron Fox how to become a great point guard. So it's only up for the Spurs at this point. They're going to continue to build in the West for years to come. Wemby's young, De'Aaron Fox is still pretty young, so they definitely have some time on their hands um, to build and continue this. As far as the Kings, it's unfortunate what happened there with the head coach firing from a few years ago. It was almost writing on the wall for De'Aaron Fox at that point. They brought in what's his name? They brought in DeMar DeRozan this past offseason, hoping that would change the dynamic of that offense. You know, your three-headed attack was Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan, but it just wasn't working out, and something had to change. And De'Aaron Fox wanted out, so he got his way. He's now in the Spurs, and we will see what Domitas and DeMar and Zach LaVine can do in Sacramento. It'll be interesting to see, but I believe they will most likely possibly make the play in and also be in the same fate as the Lakers as far as the Kings, the Spurs. I'm curious to see they will get as far as Wemby will take them. So we'll see what happens there. Um, another, let me think. Were there any other big trades I want to talk about? No, I think we oh, Brandon Ingram. He got moved. Brandon Ingram got moved from the Pelicans finally. He is now a Raptor. He got moved for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first and a second round pick. Um, I'm I just the Raptors are so far out of the I mean, well, they're not really so far out of the plan because most of the East isn't that great, but I just the team itself is so far out. I just don't feel like Brandon Ingram is enough to propel that team in a direction for success. But good luck to him, and good luck to the Raptors. But I I think the one trade that everybody was licking their chops and waiting for, and as you guys see, I've now officially switched up the jerseys because Jimmy Butler has officially been traded to the Golden State Warriors. It is a very unfortunate situation between Pat Riley and Jimmy Butler and everything that ensued in Miami. I, for one, am very upset about the situation, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is a business, and I will still continue to, as I've always have, root for Jimmy Butler and continue to root for his success. And it will definitely be unfortunate to see him win a ring if he does so with the Warriors. But it is what it is. The Warriors ended up in this deal receiving Jimmy and two second round picks. The Jazz got Josh Richardson, KJ Martin, two second round picks, and some cash. The Pistons got Lindsey Waters the third, Dennis Schroeder, and a 2031 second round pick. The Raptors got PJ Tucker, so he's back in the six, and they also got a 2026 second round pick with some cash. Now, Miami in this deal, they ended up getting Andrew Wiggins. They got Davon Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, and a 2025 first round pick. So honestly, in my opinion, and not even trying to be biased here as a Miami fan, I do feel like we definitely got enough in this deal to compensate for Jimmy. Andrew Wiggins is obviously not Jimmy Butler. However, he is younger than Jimmy, and they play the same position. He can, I feel, get into his bag like Jimmy Butler can, under the tutelage of Eric Spoelstra. I feel like Davion Mitchell and Kyle Anderson are excellent role players, and they will fit well into the system. Um, and we also got a first round pick out of this. So I do believe the Heat, I'm not going to say won this overall trade, but I do believe the Heat are in a great position to still contend in the playoffs in the East. Even with the powerhouse teams of the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, even Milwaukee, I do believe Miami has what it takes to compete with teams like that still in this league. But it will be very interesting to see as the season progresses. So we will continue to monitor the NBA. I will continue to make some content for you guys, and we will look ahead for the NBA. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below. And just remember, this is Hefe's World, and you're just living in it.